It was about 1.5 years worth of my teaching salary.
She made me a lot of money.
You're like, do it. Painting, cleaning, replacing toilets.
I wanted to kind of unlock the anatomy of success. At 10 p.m., I'm getting a text from a lady.
I'm gonna call the cops on you for harassment.
Alexandra calls me crying, bawling.
Oh my God.
We got robbed. Yeah, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna buy you out. I don't want to do business with you anymore. Welcome to Value Add Podcast. I'm so excited to have Alexandra Haider on our podcast today. Thank you for coming, Alexandra.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
So let me tell you something about this young lady. Alexandra Haider I met her in 2019.
2018, yep.
Yeah. She was a realtor then, a brand new realtor, about a year old.
Yep.
She was in the real estate industry for a year. Before that, she was a high school teacher.
And middle school, yep.
Middle school teacher. What's interesting about Alexandra is in 5 years, she accomplished so much. It's absolutely amazing. And by the way, she didn't grow up with a silver spoon in her mouth. Her parents didn't give her a lot of money or anything. She's a teacher, struggling, the waitressing through school.
Yep.
And today, she runs 400 tenants in her 8-figure portfolio with upper 7-figure net worth only in 5 years. And I'm so glad to have met you and mentored you and partnered with you because she made me a lot of money. And I made her a lot of money too, right? But that's what we do here in Value Add businesses. I partner up with talent, and she was one of the talented people. We own multiple assets together. Yeah. But one of the reasons why I wanted to invite you is because a lot of ladies are not watching our stuff and they don't believe it's possible for them. I'm like, no, look. There it is.
It's great being a lady in real estate. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Anyway, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. Yeah. It has been 7 years since I've been in real estate now. So
yeah, it's
but
time.
Yeah, we grew really fast after we started working together. So it's been fun and really mind blowing how you can do this business.
So before we met, how many houses have you flipped?
Prior to us meeting, I was very new in real estate. I had done 2 house flips, and I was working on my 3rd and living in it at the time, basically living in a cat pee house. And yeah, so not much.
Nice. And after we met, Alexandra was a realtor who was going to find some houses.
Yeah.
I didn't really do a lot of houses, but one of our mutual friends who wanted to do houses and wanted me to invest in them said, hey, Alexandra's going to be a realtor. And we did 3 or 4 houses with that particular individual, Alex. Great friend still. And Alexandra is like, well, I can do stuff also. And I think we bought a 4-plex first or something.
First, we bought, a 4-plex.
We bought a 4-plex. Yep. You moved into it. You sold it.
No, I was going to move into that one, and you convinced me not to, thank God.
Yeah.
And I moved into a different one.
Right, so it's 2 to 4-plexes.
Yep.
But anyhow, so I was a credit and capital partner. We kind of raised money together. There's a levels of a complexity to it. And one of the reasons why I invited you is I wanted to kind of unlock the anatomy of success in this business. Mm-hmm. Because when we talk to a lot of people and mentees, it's so difficult to envision running a 8-figure portfolio and all this. And right now you have a management company, you have a brokerage. I mean, you've really, really done extremely well. But tell me, what were the things that unlocked your success?
So what I will say is for a long time when I was a teacher, I was looking for my first investment property. So I was looking to find a duplex or up to a 4-unit property so I could get the right type of loan and move into one of the units and then work on the others and do house hacking.
Yep.
I worked with a realtor and I probably offered I don't know, poor guy, like 25 times. I never got accepted.
Uh-oh.
I never had an accepted offer. I was offering way over asking. Every single time I'd get excited, it never happened. I think for a lot of people, it's hard getting started, and it was the same for me. It was really difficult getting that first deal. The first deal I ever got was a $16,000 house that I bought in cash, which I had to borrow about $8,000 of that.
It must have been in a very bad neighborhood. 16,000.
So it was in such a small township. There wasn't Wi-Fi there. There was no cell phone service. The across the street neighbor was a meth head that was swinging on his swing all the time. But it was my first flip, and I was so excited about it and was able to get rolling with that. Now, once I got that and sold it, I saw how much there was in potential to be made, right?
May I ask how much you made on the first flip as opposed to how much you made annually as a teacher?
It was about 1.5 years worth of my teaching salary
All right. So
in that first flip.
And then how long did it take for you to flip that house?
I worked on it on
if you
weekends.
took hours, weekends.
I probably worked on it for 4 months. Basically everything that was put into that was, almost everything was free. I probably only put like $4,000 into it because I was going around and trying to find everything free, and I just didn't have any money at the time. As I was doing that though, I started really picking up with my real estate career and getting a lot more clients and a lot more business there. So after this one, I was feeling a little bit better financially, but still not financeable because I didn't have 2 years of tax returns as an independent contractor or an investor. And so then anyways, I got my next investment that was on a contract for deed for somebody who I had worked with for acquiring his homes.
Contract for deed is a type of financing where seller finances your acquisition when you're not financeable.
Yep. So I put $16,000 of my own money down and the rest of it was financed by the seller. And then, worked on that house. And basically what I think was the most crazy mindset shift was when I met you. And, I had been doing these flips and I was really proud of them. And I was really proud of my career as a real estate agent as well. And I still am. Like, I'm not discounting that at all. It was really good for me at the time. But I saw this fourplex that I was like, this is an amazing deal. And I showed it to you and you were like, yeah, I agree. And, that was the one I was going to be moving into. And so I had my half of the down payment. You had your half, but I had your confidence where you're like, do it. Let's do it. You can do it. And so then we got that under contract. Simultaneously, I found 2 other fourplexes.
Which you liked better.
Which I liked better. And then I was like, gosh, I really like these. And you're like, do it. It's kind of like a mindset shift.
I pushed you out of comfort zone because you were like,
you always like, you
too much, you're putting too much on my plate. I'm like, it's nothing. It's 3 fourplexes.
Yeah, and it was just like having somebody who has the confidence with you to do those things. And I'm not going to discount how difficult it was. Like, my husband and I were there working late at night we called ourselves Slumlord Mike and Alexandra because we were always stuck working there at like 10 at night until midnight. Painting, cleaning, power tools, like replacing toilets. It was the first time I got toilet water sprayed all over my face. We had some real like doozies of fights in there. But it was so awesome then, like seeing momentum building and basically just having somebody who I knew has done this before, such as yourself. And to you, this was like not a big deal, right? I remember my first sale, this was the one that, yes, my first sale, I think we each made like $80,000, I think, on it. So it was like around 160. And I remember actually feeling super guilty about it because it took me a few months and it was really hard work, and I'm not discounting that, but that wouldn't have ever been possible in my previous career. And to you, I was like amazed by this, and you were like, oh yeah, that's great. And I was like, why are you not so excited? Like, this is insane money. And it still is. Like, I still understand that, but it was a crazy mindset shift, I would say, meeting somebody like yourself and partnering with you, and then also seeing like the possibilities that were there. Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, I'm really, really glad that I had that impact on you. Bring me back to your school days. You're a teacher.
Yep.
You have a salary. You need the salary to pay the bills, the rents, and gas and whatever. How do you quit your salary job and jump off the cliff into a real estate agent position where there's no guarantee? That's the biggest issue I think everybody struggles with. And I did struggle with that myself in the beginning when I had a job and I had to like quit the job. I'm like, how am I going to pay the bills?
Well, I think some people have, like the golden handcuffs. I didn't. I had like plastic broken handcuffs. Like
So
I was not making
anyway.
very much money. Like I said, I waitressed in the summers, and I always made as much or more in the summer as I did as a teacher. So I knew that there was a lot more potential there. And also I was raised with parents who had student rentals. And so I saw them doing that on the side of their other business. But really it was scary, but it was exciting. And completely quitting, I was still working as a teacher. Part-time during summer. I did summer school, and I got my real estate license. And just during that time, I was like, there's no question in my mind that this is what I want to do. Luckily, as teachers, you do get paid through the summer. And so my first commission check came exactly 2 weeks after my last paycheck.
Oh my.
So I really didn't have a gap, which is lucky. And thank God, because I didn't have money really to cover like any long period of time.
Well, that's fascinating. I've never worked with another woman in a partnership. And when I met you, you were so prompt, like the communication style. You have the same type of a fast-paced communication. And the other thing that was very exciting about you, you're always available.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm married. I love my wife. You had a boyfriend. You married. You have a
Yep.
family now.
Yep.
At 10 p.m., I'm getting a text from a lady. And she's talking about it fourplex. And I'm texting back and whatever. And then my wife was like, who are you talking to?
Me.
I was like,
annoying me.
oh, she didn't know you then.
Yeah, okay,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. So I'm like, and I mean, I don't want to say Alexandra, 10 o'clock, or she's sleeping.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, this is a realtor. Her and her husband want to meet us for lunch. She's so awesome. I think we're going to do some business together. I remember being worried about that becoming an issue because, partnering up with another female or a person of opposite sex is could be misconstrued as, whatever. People could. But for me, it's always professional. I'm very respectful. Obviously, you've been very respectful. I think it was great. But I remember that kind of a tense situation with my wife, and after she met you and Mike, we invited you for the pool party.
Yeah.
I think it was awesome. Let's talk about you being a female in the male-dominated world. Many times I hear from my friends and my mentees, students, like, well, it's easy for you because you're a guy and it's a guy's world. What do you have to say about that?
I really think being a female is a huge advantage, actually. I've said this before.
In real estate investment business.
In commercial real estate.
Interesting.
In residential, I think there's a lot of ladies in there. I think actually like the majority of realtors are residential are females in residential. I think residential flippers, there's a lot of women in there, but commercial is significantly more males. In my experience, either A, it doesn't matter. They don't care. They treat you just like anybody else. Or occasionally they do care. And if they do care or they think that, possibly you're not as competent or maybe they're a little bit misogynist, that's a huge advantage because then you're underestimated, which is like the dream.
I remember thinking, wow, I mean, if you're a lady and men are constantly hitting on you, how's that? It's uncomfortable, right? How do you deal with that situation?
Yeah, it is difficult sometimes because you also, like you were saying, like you don't want somebody to be inappropriate to you and you to ignore it because that's almost like leading them on. So I'm just straight up like, hey, just so you know, like this is strictly professional.
Yeah.
Also, you don't want to be like, I'm going to call the cops on you for harassment. But basically just clear boundaries and males typically like chase females more. And so
it's easier for you to get a client than me with another guy.
But also, like, I want to be very clear.
There's nothing sexual. It's all business.
Yeah, nothing going on like that. But I do think once you lay down the boundary, they're more
respectful, hopefully.
Respectful, and then treat you more like possibly they would treat a male.
Now, I am a father of 3 beautiful girls, and I want my girls to be successful. Now, I've always been a guy, doing this business, and now having seen you, right? And having seen many other female leaders, I realized that it's very important to have female leaders like you because these little girls need to look up to you. And I was so blessed to have you adopt my Julie. Julie is my daughter. She's 20 years old now as a mentee because Julie didn't want to do business with me. I'm boring. I'm not cool. But tell us about your experience on the first flip you did with Julie.
Yeah, this is funny because you were my mentor, and then you mentioned your daughter and working with her, and you said she was 14 at the time. Or maybe she
16.
was even 13.
So she was around 15, couldn't drive?
Okay,
16,
possibly.
Yeah, 15, 16.
Yep, she couldn't drive, I know, because I actually remember when she had her temps, having her drive my car and her driving us in through the ditch and back out and being like, all right, we're done. Like, I was thinking it was so fun having her, like, learning to drive and me being able to take phone calls. That was very.
That was not a good idea.
But no, when you said her age,
you're like, what are you talking about? Don't waste my time.
She was very mature for her age, I would say. So I was like, this is going to be more difficult, and like, it's okay. I was willing to do it for sure. But then when I actually met her, I was so impressed because she's so mature and so smart and like on it, and she was excited. I actually loved working with Julie, and we still like are good friends and office together and everything. And
but what I told Julie, I said, Julie, what you want to do is find people in your life who represent what you want to be like, and offer them value, work with them, and collaborate with them. Of course, I made the situation to where you guys flip a house together. I could have flipped that house together just as easily. But when you guys got this, she saw what it like to be a successful lady.
Yeah.
And now she's running her own little portfolio. But anyhow, that was a very interesting thing.
It was a fun flip. It was pretty difficult. It was
the longest flip. I kept giving you grief about it.
We did very well on it. And it turned out beautifully. But yeah, it was a major rehab, and some things took a little longer.
On the first deal.
The person who wasn't involved at all thought it took too long, but
yeah. Me.
It was a fun experience. And then also to see Julie picked up really quickly. So, once she learned, she's able to continue. And honestly, like her and I started a housing company. We did a ton of house flips together.
She is currently in Peoria, Illinois.
Yep.
On a shopping center that she picked up on an auction.
She was, telling me about that. Yeah, that's awesome.
I was so mad because we never seen it until we gave 10% down refundable earnest money. I think we're gonna be okay in it, but it's too small and there's a lot of hair on it.
Okay.
But I said, even if you break even, I think it's gonna be a good lesson for you to understand how this thing works.
So you and I are selling, hopefully tomorrow, our property right next to there, and I have a really good hour maintenance guy that can help her a ton too.
Awesome. What one relationship, habit, or principle you believe helped you scale your business to the level that it is? Because you have an amazing, huge business for how 7 years you've been in the business.
I don't even know if it was anything intentional. It's not like I was every morning I'm going to wake up and I'm going to read this book and I'm going to, do all these things. For me, it was just that I loved it. And it was, and I still do, and it's still really exciting. I'm very competitive. And so I think if you have more of a competitive nature, you really want to get things done and you really want to, see the wins, I guess. It was just so fun. I literally went from a life where I didn't even ever have a window. I was in a classroom teaching.
Back-to-back classes.
Back-to-back classes. Literally didn't see daylight a lot of days. And then I went to something. I remember my first time when I was completely done teaching and I wanted to go to lunch and I was like, this is crazy that I can just go to lunch. And I'm not on a 25-minute period where I'm trying to
go back,
shovel food into my mouth and grade essays. And I think if you realize the privilege that you do have and how fun it actually is, and even the crappy things, because there's always a lot of crappy things.
It's not always perfect, yeah.
It's not perfect, and to be able to laugh at how insane some of the things are that happen too. But for me, it was just more being able to scale was just that I loved it. It was fun to me. I would find something just like you. You find something, you're like, this has a ton of potential, and then you get excited, and then you don't let it go.
One of the things that I want to mention is as much as it's fun and exciting and smiles and high fives, this one time, Alexandra calls me crying, bawling. Oh my God, we got robbed. This guy that I hired, it's my contact, hired to do work on a 45-unit apartment building that we bought, took $300,000 from us, said he's going to do the construction work. This property is in Montevideo, so it's a couple hours away. And I'm busy. I thought she's checking on the work. She thought I'm checking on the work. Basically gave this guy $300,000 and he probably spent 10, and he stole all the money.
He provided fake invoices from real companies. He was talking the talk, but then every time I would try to come to look, he was like, oh, my daughter's in the hospital, or, all these lies. And so, yeah.
So she's crying. I feel at first, if you remember, I was very stoic about the whole situation. I'm like, don't worry about it. It'll be fine.
You're
and I was
like, business. I'm oh my God, what?
To me, I was like, if I made a mistake of putting that guy, worst case scenario, I'll just write a $150,000 check for that mistake. To me, it was a $150,000 mistake on my side. Because I could lose money, but I didn't want to lose your money. So that's how I internalized it. For me, we ultimately got the money back.
Most of it.
The guy's in jail now, unfortunately. Not because of the situation. But
he thinks unfortunately, I think fortunately.
Long story short, when you go through these episodes, maintaining a relationship and going forward, and we had multiple other projects going on, and not completely breaking down and losing your shit.
Well, one thing I appreciated, because I was more of the hands-on type partner, and we bought so much at one time. And so we created him as a master tenant. He's supposed to be kind of taking care of things, but really I should have been demanding to see like
The work.
a lot more work and like not trusting him. But you didn't turn on me and I didn't turn on you, and like we just figured it out together. And so I think that's a really good.
So one of the
partnership.
advice I want to give you guys is that being in partners is like being in a boat in the ocean, right? And ocean is not always calm. Sometimes there's going to be waves, sometimes it's going to be storms. And if there's a storm in the ocean and you're in the boat and all you do is bicker and complain about who made a mistake, a wrong turn or whatever, you sink. All you have to do when there's a storm, hunker down and keep rowing as fast as possible to get to the other side, to get to the shore. And so to me, you're a trooper. Obviously, we've done really well together. We still own a lot of shopping centers, industrial properties. We still have housing units. But I appreciate your partnership, and I'm glad that we work together. But outside of, like, I've done so much without you since Alexandra got pregnant and she had a baby, a beautiful baby, and we have a baby too. So she sort of took a hiatus. She hasn't bought anything.
Focused a lot on management. Just a couple of things I bought,
So my point is, one of the things that I'll tell you is it's not always smooth and sunny skies. Sometimes it's distressful, and you need to understand not to point fingers. And many times in the past, similar situations, my partners would say, oh, well, you put that tenant in there and that tenant didn't pay. It's your responsibility. You got to eat it. And that was the end of the relationship. Now we have 7-8 properties going on together. But when that happened, because I was like, all right, if that's how it is, I will take the responsibility. I'm sorry, but I'm going to buy you out. I don't want to do business with you anymore.
Not with me.
That was not with you, but with somebody else. My point is, we've had a lot of issues happening, and we were kind of stuck together, and it was great. And so I really appreciate that.
I agree. I think even if, like, whether in a partnership or even if you're doing yourself, like, it doesn't really matter either as long as everyone's not malicious with anything and trying to do anything wrong. Like, everyone has a million things going on and is doing their best and, like, their portion of the partnership. And so the fact that, I mean, we didn't turn on each other at all. We were both like crap and then worked through it. And
Let me ask you another question.
Yep.
Do you have a 5-year plan or goal, or are you sort of coasting through life?
So that's an interesting question, because I feel like my, Greg has asked me that a few times, my real estate coach. I've created a few goals and then reached them pretty quickly. And now where I'm at right now, I would say that as long as I continue to like it and enjoy it, that's what I hope to do. I don't have I want to get to a certain amount of square feet. What I want is to be able to be around my son a lot. Mm-hmm. I will probably, once he gets a little older, start flipping crappy houses again, because I want him in there doing that with me, like I was with my parents.
As a 10-year-old?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. As a 10-year-old, like, I'm going to buy some really ugly, disgusting properties that he's going to get to deal with. Just like you wanted with Julie, right? I mean, my biggest thing now is I want him to grow up to be an awesome, responsible adult that's happy in his life. I want him to see his mom doing well. And so I also I'm still very driven. I still want to continue growing. I just, like I said, I've been putting in LOIs and stuff. I feel like my management is much more stable now. But I don't have a financial goal so much, or square footage. Because
you are content. You're happy,
I am very happy with where I am. I never thought I would be where I am, to be honest.
Can you believe it? It's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. Yeah, I mean, I have everything that I could have wanted in my life. And the biggest thing was my son, and now I have him. And so
that's so beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's so beautiful to see how you're excited and you lit up about that, because people take it for granted. Many people have 20 kids, 5 kids, 7 kids, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's so important to compartmentalize your life and not be focused too much on one thing, which is financial freedom. There's health, there's family, there's capital.
Yeah, and actually, since having him too, I've always wanted to exercise and be healthy and everything. But I'm trying to prioritize that as well, because if you get really seriously sick, you're going to spend every single penny that you have to make sure that you continue living and and you're healthy and happy. So I want to focus on that as well. I'm training for a marathon right now.
Awesome.
Yeah, just ran a half marathon, hopefully a full one, as long as everything is Good.
The problem with marathons for me is I have a back pain, and every time I run, my back pain gets worse. So I'm a biker now as a result.
Okay.
But as far as health is concerned, my wife Maria is much younger than me. I think we have a 10-year difference. And as a result of that, I had her start a longevity clinic
Yeah.
for to keep me young. And we've done some procedures and stuff. It's absolutely amazing. So a little plug for Maria. If you guys want to stay healthy, please find Ever Youth and reach out to her. She's going to hook you up with lots of really cutting edge
She
things.
knows a lot about, I mean, any question I have with health or like exactly like you're saying, longevity or when I was pregnant, everything, she's really into all of it.
Yep.
Do you have a goal?
I used to have a goal until I got to my,
till you got to
portfolio
your goal.
size.
Yep.
And then I sort of kind of lost my bearings because I didn't want to like more, just for the sake of more. One thing I realized, and you'll see that too, when you have a lot going on, you got to stay on top of everything.
Yeah.
It's just more work. And after you get, I don't know, $200,000 a month or $300,000 a month, you don't even need that money.
What's
like,
the point?
It's just, it's all
Unless
ego.
you like it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm very frugal and humble, and I grew up with, in a small town without any financial means. So I live beyond any kind of an imaginary lifestyle, with the flying planes. And so for me, I don't have a specific destination as to like, I want to have $1 billion portfolio or whatever.
Okay.
That's not what I do. But I poured my a purpose into creating this mentorship program because what really feeds my soul is guys like you. You are my product. Like when I see a person like you do really, really well, outside of my having financial means, that sort of fulfills my purpose. And so what I want to do for the rest of my life is just coach and help and elevate others, but not just teach economics of deals. One of the things that many of our mentors don't focus on is being a good human being first and foremost.
Yeah.
Being selfless and considerate and generous and contribute to the lives of others. So that's what I'm working on. And of course, it's a lot of work on me to contain my enthusiasm, but also grow. And one of my biggest frustrations right now?
Too busy?
No. I want everyone to be like Alexandra, and they're not. And I'm like, okay, let's figure out what's missing. What's the missing ingredient? And so much of it is an internal, like a block. A lot of people, first and foremost, they don't believe in the possibility. And so they see it with us, oh, Rafik got lucky. Oh, Alexandra got lucky. Or this guy. No, it's not luck. It's just, it's a combination of work, continuous growth, and
self-confidence too.
But you can borrow the confidence, So one of the things that I want to ask you, how much of what you've accomplished is a byproduct of continuous growth? Tell us about that journey.
You mean like continuing to grow in my real estate career? Like how
Well,
much?
learning, like Pinio, like Commercial Academy, all that shit.
Yeah. Real quick, speaking of learning and what you were just talking about, I've seen studies and like it was like a huge portion of CEOs are sociopaths, like lack empathy. And so having more people such as yourself who do care to do the right thing, because you can go really far with doing the right thing, but a lot of times some people end up getting there because they don't care about who they're affecting. Because they have nothing else going on, Yes, they strictly care about business. They don't have any empathy. One-dimensional. And I think probably those, that could be generational wealth, or it could be people who are like, eventually I think it's going to catch up to them. I don't know, maybe not. But
maybe on the other side.
Maybe on the other side, I think being very successful and still empathetic and understanding like all of our decisions we make in this are directly impacting people's lives. So all of our tenants, we literally own their house and that's where they live. And like all of our retail tenants, that's their business.
They make a living.
That's how they make their living. And
you got to be sensitive to it, not act like a douchebag.
Yes, because like the numbers are numbers to us, but they really matter to these tenants. And so like keeping that in mind. But back to what you were saying as far as like what percentage was from continual growth. I mean, I've always loved learning. As a teacher, I went and got way more than a master's. And then in real estate, like there's so much you can listen to, podcasts.
But you paid so much money to go to
I paid for I still
coaching.
pay $1,700 a month for my coaching. I like to go to masterminds and events.
How much of that contributed to your success, you think?
One of the biggest things that coaching and mentorship provides is they stop you from making mistakes that take you backwards. You can be super confident and buy a bunch of things.
But make a lot of mistakes.
And make a lot of mistakes and end up backwards. And so I think my coaching and mentorship and people who I listen to, even like books, stuff like that, has really just helped me where I'll hear something, I'm like, oh, I was just about to make that mistake. So like, I'm so glad that I sat here for 3 days to hear that one thing that I was about to
make a mistake
on. Yeah.
As I'm building this new strategy system blueprint, I'm trying to extract the ingredients necessary for success. And as I'm listening to you, and I've talked to Daniel Karkowski, who I met in 2018 and who's really super successful today, and many of my other students, I realized that it's a combination, and of course this is a work in progress for me, combination of the right mindset of believing in the possibility. Because if you don't believe, you will precipitate the reality that you're in, kind of like Confucius, when Confucius said, he who says he can and he who says he can't are both usually right.
Yep.
And if you say I cannot or it's not possible, you will essentially, through confirmation bias, through some other ways, will create the reality which will satisfy or ultimately prove to you that you're right about the fact that it's not possible. So mindset is very important. And how do you shift your mindset? Is by being around people like Alexandra, people who've made it, and they will basically show you the way of how it's possible to do. So mindset is number one. Number two, continuous growth and continuous improvement. I've noticed that in my masterminds, Commercial Academy, with Greg Pinio, with many, many other things I've gone to, I feel like there's a group of people that constantly show up at these events.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh man, this is great. And that's the result of him owning a $100 million portfolio or whatever, is because of this continuous growth.
Yeah.
The other thing I noticed, maybe it's my personal experience, generosity and integrity. Those combination of those two aspects, at least maybe in my circles, I hear about a lot of people who are really rich and pompous. And when I was poor, I've always thought that rich people are, disingenuous and
got there because I was stepping on other people's necks to
right,
get there.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that reality exists somewhere, maybe in New York, Miami, I don't know. But every time I meet some wealthy people, at least the people that I associate with, I see those traits and then they attract me. And so maybe that's why I created the group of a lot of good people around me. But my point is, generosity, kindness, contribution are a big part of success, in my opinion. It's, at least in the Midwest. And then action. Many people read a lot, study a lot, have a good mindset, but they're so scared to take action.
Yep.
And I think that's where you need to be a part of the mastermind or go to these events, because you can borrow that confidence. Like Alexandra borrowed confidence from me.
100%. Seeing other people doing it and knowing that they, a year ago, were right where you were is like huge.
I can do that too.
And you're not going to know what you're doing, but neither did they when they started. Like, nobody knows what they're doing until they're in it, I feel like. You have partners and everything like that, but mistakes or trials, they're all unique, right? So you're going to run into issues, and that's just like the only known thing.
So if we're going to create this sort of a pie chart of things necessary to unlock success in your life and build financial freedom or whatever, outside of success, by the way, if you're not healthy, well, it doesn't matter. If you are not in tune with the relationships in your life and you are mean to your wife or children or whatever, and you have all this money and they don't want to have nothing to do with you, then you're lonely. And that's not good either.
Yeah.
And there's many, many other aspects to it. But that's what I'm learning. And I'm a student myself, so I'm constantly reading books and going to seminars and going to masterminds. So, that's another thing. And I've noticed that in you too. Like I said, hey, do you want to go to this Power Players? And it's $8,000, and you didn't flinch. You're like, well, it's expensive, but if you believe in it, I'll do it.
Yeah.
That was really.
And I'm so thankful. Like, I would say a huge thing that you did to help me too is recommending things such as that, because I think if you can see somebody who's doing what you want to do and they recommend you spending money and doing something, you should always do it, because.
Well, it's not. I wasn't I was not asking her to spend money on me, because I wasn't in that role. Now that I'm doing it, one of the issues I have, and this is like I'm not sure it's going to be off record or on record, but here's what I have.
Yeah.
All these people, they don't have any money, right? And so I feel bad. I don't want to charge them any money. They don't have any money. But what I realize is that when they don't spend any money, there's no energy exchange. They're not committed.
Yeah.
And so I remember Greg Pino's words, like, dude, if you're serious about it and you drop $8,000, you will take it seriously, the subject matter, and you will really go and will this reality into.
I think that's really
You know
true.
what I mean? And so as far as like part of me, I'm like, oh, I don't want to charge anything. At the same time, I almost quit the thing. I was like, I don't want to do it anymore because these guys are just not doing anything.
Yeah.
And so as soon as we started charging, a couple of guys made offer. There's less people in the coaching, but they're doing things and it excites me. So I think I'll continue doing it. I'm going to focus probably on building the portfolio more, but I think there's a lot of value in that.
It's them showing some initiative to pay a little bit. You don't care like $500 a month or whatever. Like that's not going to change your life in any way, but I completely agree. I've done like a few things for free, like podcasts where people have heard me, or like I had one event and I've had quite a few people reach out, and then I've spent so much of my energy. I can think of one person in particular. I literally like negotiated a deal where he didn't have to put anything down for him. He was so excited, and then he got scared and backed out. And I was like, I should have charged him. Like we wouldn't have gotten to this
done the deal then.
or he would have done it. But he got too scared and he had no skin in the game. And then I look like this loser, like vouching for this guy. I think you're completely onto something with that.
Yeah. So I don't know. My goal right now in the next phase of my life is to really uncover the ingredients of success, because you see, one thing I know how to do is how to buy a property, infuse it with life, and unlock value and make a lot of money with the properties. I want to create a system of doing that with people. And my goal is to get 100 people to get to like $100 million portfolio.
Yeah.
And the most frustrating thing is to talk to 100 people and they don't do anything.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what the hell's going on? I tend to believe that people are people. Everyone is the same except for the pains they've experienced and environment they are in.
Also, maybe they're not in the right career, right?
Yeah.
Like if you don't find excitement in
That's
getting
the
a
other
good
thing,
deal, maybe this is not the right thing for you.
Yeah.
Because to me, even seeing something like getting a listing or an OM and the numbers really
You're
work
excited,
is
boom.
super excited.
So you got a
And,
dopamine rush.
Yeah, it is. Or I don't know. Maybe they're just not in the right career. They
And so
want
that's
the
why
money. They think real estate's the way to get there, but they don't enjoy the actual work
Process.
itself. Yeah.
And so maybe the advice to those guys who just want the result, you got to find a different industry because you want to wake up every day excited about going to work, walking to these properties, talking to tenants and contractors, whatever. At least that really excites me. I'm excited to visit these properties and stuff. Well, Alexandra, thank you for coming. How can our audience reach you if they wanted to meet with you? And Alexandra is very easygoing. You can call her and get give her a cup of coffee or lunch or whatever. She lives right here in
Twin Cities. Yep.
Yeah. So how can they reach you?
So you could email me, Alexandra at financiallyfreellc.org, or
Social media?
social media. Yeah, but I might not accept you because I have a child now.
Okay.
Don't do social media. I'm like really private on it now.
Okay.
If you message me and you tell me like why you're friend requesting me, then I'll accept you. But otherwise, nah. Otherwise, I would say probably email is the best way, and then we can meet for a cup of coffee, and then that would be that.
So one thing about Alexandra and many of my friends and students is because of the way I received my mentorship from Alex and Greg and whatever, it's all a paying forward. And I think we are excited about sharing and giving and elevating others. And I think you are the same way.
Yeah, it's really fun seeing somebody that you helped be successful.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for coming. It was a pleasure to see you.
Me.
We should do a double date or triple date now, with kids and stuff, maybe pool date. Well, thank you very much. If you're interested in learning more about our coaching, please DM me. Otherwise, I'll see you guys on the next podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you.